Top of the morning to you once again. Welcome back to the Afia Morning Show. Slowly winding down, and of course, now we're going to embark on a road trip. Enugu took flights not too long ago, as the state governor said, and now Enugu is taking a road trip with the Enugu State transport management system that has seen the CNG buses as compressed natural gas buses alongside the bus shelters and the elaborate bus terminals across the state. Totaling 5, actually, 2 at Holy Ghost and other terminals as well. Now, a lot of discussions have arisen as a result of the rates and routes that have been released for the buses and, of course, the terminals. So to shed more light on it, we're joined in the studio by SA to the Governor on Transportation. We have the beautiful Iphie Ugonabo joining us here in the studio. Thank you once again, Iphie, for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, last time we spoke, we were shouting over our voices at the Enugu airport when Enugu Air landed. So it's great to see you here discussing Enugu on wheels.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you smiled when I mentioned how people have been talking about the rates and the routes, asking, no, is it more expensive than the other minibuses? Suddenly we now saw the prices were pretty much adjusted. At what point did the prices change? Because there was an initial list and then an updated list, which will be showing on screen during the show. So walk us through what informed the prices and, walk us through the rates, the routes, the prices, and what informed all of them.
Okay, thank you very much. So in terms of the pricing, there are the first set of price lists that you saw. They are the standard, commercial prices, because these assets, we need to run them. We also need to run them sustainably. But His Excellency has always directed that this CNG bus scheme has to be affordable. Because we're using CNG, we're not using petrol. It has to be affordable. It has to be seamless, it has to be efficient. So it's that part of the affordability aspect that we now had to go and do a review and just make it, keep to his promises. That's essentially what happened. So that first list went out, and then the second adjustment had to be made in line with the directive of His Excellency.
Right. This is Nigeria, right? So are there going to also be price adjustments, maybe say inflation or whatnot? Could that, trigger a spike or thereabout?
Right. So the macroeconomic indices and issues affects everybody. I think at that point, when we need to make any adjustments, I think we will also make it public, communicate accordingly, and then that shift is going to happen all over the places. So it's not going to be just Enugu State BRT. Even the other commercial drivers would also have to up their costs. But when we get there, we would definitely manage the communications and stakeholder engagement to be able to do that.
I mean, it's quite interesting to see, if you perhaps go to the Holy Ghost terminal, to go to Nsukka, you just pay 2,200 naira with the CNG bus. I mean, some people are, of course, looking at it through the prism of what the mini buses used to charge before versus what the CNG bus charges. So what's that comparison like for you, and how much below that price would you say this really is?
Yes, I think on average, going to Nsukka now on those other mini buses, I think it is somewhere between 3,000, 3,500. But with the CNG, because of course the bus is going to carry a lot more people, so in terms of revenue, it balances out. And of course, because this is part of the dividend of democracy for the Enugu, and His Excellency has said we must make sure that this is affordable. And of course, Nsukka is an important zone, in terms of politics and otherwise. We have to make sure that we carry everybody along. That's essentially what has happened. So it's about 800 naira to about 1,000 something lower than the average. All
right. So of course, as we continue this conversation, we're going to have the prices showing on screen, all the different terminals and their rates. So I'm sure our producer would have that reel out for our viewers to see what these prices really are for the state's new CNG buses. But coming down to CNG availability, I mean, your bus can't move on fumes. It has to move on something. So how available is compressed natural gas? What is the progress with the station at Ugonabo that is meant to be the mother station for this gas?
Yes, so this whole idea is well thought through. Remember, we had to get the mother station fixed way before we even got the buses and started operating them right now. So the capacity that we have at Ugonabo is more than enough to fuel our buses and even another 1,000 buses more.
Is it ready?
Yes, it is ready. We've been fueling from there. All right. So at the stations, the terminals, do you have a CNG refueling capacity? Yes, definitely. So, of course, the construction, we just finished and commissioned, but there is the fuel station side and there's a CNG daughter station across all the terminals. And even outside the terminals, there are a few spots that we have identified where we are going to have daughter stations. So it kind of makes it easier for the drivers. They don't have to drive all the way down to Ugonabo to fuel.
And that's a new lead. We're definitely going to go to Ugonabo to see that station, see how ready.
Please see. It is.
So, talking about the CNG buses, and how would the spare parts, in case it's a breakdown or that, be sourced? Is it outsourced or something that's going to be happening internal?
For the spare parts of the buses.
Of the buses.
Right. So when we bought the buses, we have an after-sales service arrangement, and even with our operators, we have a spare parts warehouse. So most of these parts are here. If anything goes off, they are going to be able to fix that. We also have that warranty for the next 2 years.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about how the buses were purchased, right? Can you give us that information?
Yeah, because there are pockets of views, people saying that most of the buses are refurbished from the previous administration, that the state government did not get new buses, but they went to refurbish buses from the former administration, not Ugwuanyi's administration, Sullivan's administration. So we have a two-step flow. So could you walk us through how the buses were procured, or tell us if this speculation is true?
So these CNG buses that were commissioned, we bought them. They are brand new buses. There's another arrangement we have for refurbished buses, which we're still refurbishing. And part of it is just refurbishing them is an opportunity for people to gain skills in the automotive industry. And, you're creating jobs for people and doing that. You're expanding capacity. And of course, you're also bringing these assets to be more available for our people as opposed to just scrapping them. So what this government is doing, you have seen with other things, with some of the hotels, that His Excellency is refurbishing. We could have just let them there. They would say they're abandoned assets.
So what's the percentage of new to refurbished? What's the percentage? The refurbished buses, would they be
our
on the
new
road?
CNG buses, we are looking at 200. The refurbished ones are about 49.
All right.
50.
Okay,
50.
let's get to EJ card. The modalities and how it works. Can you just walk us through how this card is going to be operational?
All right. So I have my
EJ card.
EJ
Can
card.
we get a close-up? Can we get a close-up on the EJ card? Yes, great. Go ahead.
Okay, so with the EJ card is a contactless payment card, prepaid card. When you go to the terminal, so this entire week, from the time we commissioned, His Excellency promised that we're going to give out the cards for free for the next 1 week. When you go to the terminal, you get a card. Ordinary is supposed to cost 500 naira. From next week, it's going to cost 500 naira. When you get a card, our ticketers there will load the card for you. All you need to do is when you get on the bus, you tap it, you hear welcome. It means that the money is taken, and then you enjoy the ride.
And what if you go there and you've forgotten your EJ card at home and you have money in your pocket? What do you do with such money?
So it's completely cashless. We've digitalized the payments.
How do you know who may decide to start pleading with the driver to go in there with the equivalent money?
So the people that we are operating these buses are thorough professionals. We're not saying that it's a perfect system, but we put mechanisms in place to watch. Even our citizens are very observant now. They're going to take pictures and take videos and send to our lines, and that person will be sacked. There is no cash collection in anything we are doing in transport. So it is contactless. If you've forgotten your card, you may not need to pay another 500 to buy it, or you won't be able to get on the ride.
So there's no urgent 2K?
No, not available on our BRT buses or in anything we're doing in transport, even in the state.
All right, let's talk about safety and possibilities of overcrowding. Now, in a CNG bus, if you don't sit, you're probably going to stumble and roll to the front of the bus. Yes, I mean to be that graphic. How are you ensuring that the risks associated with the bus are mitigated? Because this is gas, it's CNG, and there's a problem with how we handle things. It's a general problem. How are you ensuring that safety measures are put in place and that the risks are reduced to barest minimum?
Yeah, so the buses, they have opportunities to sit, and then of course when the sitting capacity is full, they can stand and hold on to those rails. But even in the bus, there's a bus partner. There's always a partner that goes with the driver that can walk around and make sure that people are holding on to their, the safety nets that's been provided. Even when you look at CNG is even safer than ordinary fuel. You know, the ordinary, the
There's
petrol.
misconceptions the other way around, but
No. Yes. I mean, they all have their the risk factors, but petrol is riskier than CNG.
So what's going to happen to all the conductors in the state?
So all these buses we have, they have partners. We don't call them conductors, we call them pilots and pilot partners. So there's still somebody who is there supporting the driver, but the person is not picking money because you have to tap to come in even before you start talking to
So there'll be no Biago.
Always that. So will it be real-time tracking applications for the bus, just for the customer's experience?
Sorry, say
for
that again.
Schedules, would it be real-time tracking schedules for the buses?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we just started. In fact, we're doing a pilot phase now where we're using about 6 to 10 buses to go to specific routes. At the moment, we're doing mostly Holy Ghost to Gariki via Independence Layout, Holy Ghost to Gariki via Zika Avenue, and then Holy Ghost to Ababa, Holy Ghost to MN. This is just our pilot phase to kind of gather data on where we have most people get more, adopt the cards. And then, of course, if there are any teething problems, technical glitches, we can take care of them.
All right.
But once we do that, there's a digital display system that will show where the buses are going. And even on the terminals, it will show exactly when the times the buses are going to be departing and arriving, as it were.
Time flies so fast on the morning show, and we already have run out of time. But I have to ask you this. What does this new infrastructure mean for the existing minibuses and tricycles? Because we're still seeing them on the road. I mean, is this bye-bye, or is this something else for them?
It can be bye-bye. I mean, the transport unions are important stakeholders. In fact, they are a constituency. So what we are doing and what they're doing is sort of complementary, right? The essence of having even more. I don't think we have enough vehicular, transport assets for the entire 7 million people in Enugu State, 17 local government areas. We tend to focus more on the key metro. There are other places under the 17 local governments that need even last mile services, unserved and underserved. What we are doing is to integrate the operations into ours. Nobody's going to be left behind.
Now, the federal government plans to set up bus terminals nationwide. How would this plan by the federal government interact with the state, since the state has its own terminals? Is it still going to accept terminals from the
Definitely, it's a welcome development. What the terminals does for us is it brings orderliness. It brings even safety. Because the problem we have is when things are, people are parking and clustered all over the road, and it's not good. I think when you enter any city, the first thing you notice is the transport system. If it's haggard, you say the society is haggard. So it's a welcome development. They should bring more of it. We even need more places where we can put these terminals to serve our people.
Sustainability, before we let you go, sustainability of the CNG bus system. How would sustainability be ensured beyond this administration? How is that being taken into the big picture?
Yeah, so in terms of sustainability, for instance, the terminals, we're going to look at a management concessionaire who would manage it. And they're not managing it just for 4 years. They're probably going to manage it for the next 10 years. So next 10 years, I don't think any of us will be in this administration. This administration would have been over. And then, of course, their management agreement signed.
Right.
Yeah, and substantive. I don't think anybody will wake up and just shove them aside.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We're already out of time. And we were supposed to connect with another guest, the same segment, but we'll surely reschedule that perhaps for tomorrow or maybe Enugu Kwenu. So many topics to look at. All right. Now we will just reel out these numbers for you before we let you go. We have the BRT customer service contact details, which we'll put at the bottom of the screen as I go ahead to read them. For WhatsApp, you can reach the BRT customer service system on 070-790-87864. Another number is 080-846-23724. Third number is 070-5606-7468. Now for social media handles, you can reach the BRT customer service, of course, BRT stations, of course, on Instagram at Enugu BRT, on X, Enugu BRT, TikTok, Enugu BRT, Facebook, Enugu BRT as well. So it's a great one having you. Thank you once again for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We'll round up today's show. It's so sad it's over. I wish you could go on a break and come back, but it's already come to an end. Up next is the Business Morning with Marvelous Apamaga. Until we see you again tomorrow, same time, same channel, I remain your host, Nathalie Uku.
Oji, want you to have a splendid Tuesday. Bye for now.